Hey guys, Asher Zakarian here, and today I'm going to teach you how to solve a Rubik's Cube. Let's go! Alright guys, so first off, before we begin, I'm going to show you guys a few things, just so you can understand a little bit more about the cube. So, first off, we're going to try to take apart the cube. And it may take a minute, but... So, these are corners. They have 3 different colors, and they are located in the corners of the cube. And these are edges. They only have 2 colors, and they're located kind of in between 2 corners. One thing you should know is that this is what the core of a cube looks like, of a Rubik's Cube, and these are all the centers. Now, as you can see, you can't move these 2 centers around. They will always stay in the same place, but only these corners can move around, and edges. So, yellow will always be opposite white, blue will always be opposite green, and orange will always be opposite red. So now let's get started. Alright guys, so I just want to let you know that this is a method that I think I made up. It is a combination of a few different types. One is the cross, then there's F2L, or I do it my own way, but basically F2L, and 4LLL. And those are the 3 steps that I'm going to be showing you guys today. And the name is called CF4. Alright, so let's scramble up the cube and we'll get to the first step. Alright, so the first step in solving the cube is called the cross. And there are now algorithms needed to create the cross. The only thing you need to do is, what you want to make it look like is like this. So, ignore that corner. Basically, you have a cross, or a plus sign, and then each edge, these are edges, connects to a center. So red is with red center, blue is with blue center, orange is with orange center, and green is with green center at the moment. So we're going to scramble it up again. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to make a daisy or a flower. So what you're going to do is, you can see you want the yellow center and white edge petals. So you're going to try to make it look like this. That's the first step. So how you do that is you're going to have to make spaces for other things. So like right now, I could move this up, but it would cancel out this one. So you have to make space for it, move it over, and then turn it up. Now there's 2 petals. Now we find another petal here. There's nothing here, so we can just turn it right up. And then this last petal, we have to turn it once to make room so it can go up like that. And then there's the yellow flower. And then you need to make it so each petal needs to connect to its center. So, for example, like this, that is, here look, so we'll just do this one for example. This is a white petal and it has blue, but that is a green center, so you need to connect it to its blue. There's blue right there, so you're going to want to make like a line like that, and then you do F twice. 1, 2. And then you're going to go to the next petal and do the same thing. Connect it to its center. F twice, boom. This one already connected, F twice, boom. And then one more right there, F twice, boom. And there is the cross. So practice that for a little bit. Probably the hardest part is making the cross. So let's go through a few scenarios and then we'll move on. Alright guys, so here is probably one of the hardest scenarios I've had people be in, where you have all three pedals except for one is here, but it should be facing up this way. So for all those people who are just stuck at this step, this is what you want to do. You want to do F once, you turn it this way, and then you can just bring it up. And then there's the yellow flower. So now we're going to move on to the next step. And then, yeah. Alright guys, so you've done the cross, and it's looking really good. And the next step is to do F2L, or self-taught F2L for me. So what you're going to want to do is you want to make something that looks like this. I call these like widgets. Some people call them bricks. There are a bunch of things you can call them. And they consist of a corner and an edge that are connected with the colors, and then there's a white on the bottom, basically. So you're going to want this down here like that. But notice, if I try to put it over in here, it connects to the blue here, but then it moves this up. So what you want to do is you want to move it over. So U, and then you bring this up, R, U prime, R prime. And then it's in place there. So now we're going to find another one. Okay, here is something kind of interesting. The way I like to get out of this is I just go R, U, R prime, U prime, and I can do that really fast. So let me put it back to where it was. The more you do this, the faster you get. Okay, so now we have this, opposite colors here, and if I move it up, it creates a widget there. So then you take it out by doing that move, and then you bring it back down like that. So now we have a widget here, and you can see it has blue and orange, so blue and orange are right here. If I did it, this is orange here, but there's green here, so if I did it, I wouldn't be in the right spot. And so you want to have it between the blue and the orange, or close to between the blue and the orange. And so for this case, you're going to go L prime, U, L. And then it's in place right there. So now we're going to do two more of those. Oh, there's one over here. But if I move it over, it only makes it like that. So we're going to have to go back like this. But make sure not to put it like this, because if I do it back, it'll take this widget out if I try to turn it. So you want to make room for this so I can move this wherever and it won't affect this at all. So there it is right there. If I move it over, I can't connect it. So you're going to go back this way like that. There we go. And so now you just have to do the right hand algorithm, or R, U, R prime, U prime. And then now it's down here. And then even if I bring it up, it's still not in place, but I can still bring it up like that. So now we have a patterned widget. So I'll move it over to make some room. So there's some room right there. I can move this wherever. And then you're going to just go R prime, U2, R. And then you have an example of making a widget. So you see separate colors here, and when I move it over, it creates a widget. Then you just turn it, then you do U, and then down. So it's R, U, R prime. And then it's down right there. So we're gonna do one more. So for this one, instead of moving it this way, see if we connect it, we create a pattern widget. But instead, you can go R prime U2 R, and then there's a widget right there. And then you just bring it over here, up, this way, like that. And then that is the second layer. So keep practicing that, and we will move on then. Alright, now comes the final step, which is 4LLL, which stands for For Look Last Layer. It is a little bit faster than the beginner layer by layer method. So I would level this part as an intermediate kind of a part. Same with F2L. Basically, my whole method is a beginner part. If you would like me to do, is an intermediate. If you'd like me to do a beginner tutorial on how to start, and you don't have to memorize many algorithms, let me know in the comments. So the first thing you're going to want to do for this is you're going to want to find a line like this, or you're going to want to find one of these, which I call this a 9 o'clock. So 9 o'clock. You can call this a right angle too. Doesn't matter which one it is. And all you need to do, you're going to want to make the yellow cross. So all you're going to need to do is you do F, R, U, R prime, U prime. And you turn it back up, and it makes the line here. And then you do F, R, U, R prime, U prime again. And then you have the yellow cross here. So let me show you one scenario that I didn't show here, and then we can move on. Alright, here's the last scenario, which is a dot right here. You have no right angles or 9 o'clocks or lines here. So all you need to do is you're going to go, same thing that we usually do, F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. And then you just go U2, and then there's your right angle. And then you do F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime, one more time, F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. There's your yellow cross. So now we're going to move on to the next step, and yeah. Alright guys, so you've solved the 2 layers, and you have one more layer to solve. For this part, there are lots of different algorithms to use to do this, and I'm going to show you all of them. It may take a little bit, but if you get fast enough at them, you can do like really, really awesome. So, this is one of the algorithms. I don't know what to call these. You'll just kind of understand them later on. Basically, you have one corner facing up, and then for this one, you have one facing down here, one facing out here, and one facing up here. So what you're going to do is, for this one, you're going to hold it like this. So don't do it like that, don't do it like that, don't do it like that. Just keep it like this. And you go R, U, R prime, U, R, U2, R. And then you have a yellow phase here. So let's do that again. R, U, R prime, U, R, U2, R prime. Alright, so here's what I like to call the left-hand example. So where it's over here is the right, this is the left. And what you do for this one, what it looks like is that there's one corner facing up here, and there's one facing out this way, to me, and out this way. And so you don't do it like this, you do it like this. So you're going to want to have it start looking like this, then you go U, and then you do pretty much the same thing we did on the right hand example. So you go L prime, U prime, L, U prime, L prime, U2, L. And then you have the yellow face there. Alright guys, so here's an example of a pretty simple one. Basically, everything is solved here except for these two corners. You don't want to hold it like this, you want to hold it like this, so that one's facing up and one is facing down, and then there's one here that's solved the yellow face. So what you want to do for this one is you go lowercase r, u, normal r prime, u prime, and then lowercase r prime, f, r, f prime. And then the yellow face is solved. Alright, so here's another example. It looks like this. Basically, you have most of this done except for these two corners here. And you want to hold it like this, so this one is facing out, and this one is facing this way, down to me. And then, so what you want to do here is you go U, F prime, then you do the same thing we did on the other one. You go lowercase r, U, normal r prime, u prime, and then lowercase r prime, f, r, and then white face is solved there. Alright, so here's one of the last examples. So you have the yellow cross, and you want to hold it like this, so there's one facing out this way, one facing down, and then these two are facing out this way. And so this one is a little tricky. It took me a while to memorize this one. So you hold it like this, and you go R, U 2, R prime 2, U prime, R 2, U prime, R 2 prime, U 2, R, and then you have the yellow face here. So let's do it one more time, and then we'll be good. So, or twice. R, U 2, R 2 prime, U prime, R 2, U prime, R 2 prime, U 2, R. Okay, one more time. It's R, U 2, R 2 prime, U, R 2, U prime, R 2 prime, U 2, R, yellow face. Okay, one more example. Okay, here's the last example, and it's probably the easiest. So you have the yellow cross, and you have two facing down, two facing up. That's it. So all you need to do to fix this one is you go F, R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, U prime. And then you just go F prime. And it's there. So let's do it two more times. Or once. Okay, so it's F, R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. And boom. That's all solved. So let's go to the final step. Alright guys, so the second to last step is pretty simple. There are two different scenarios. One is where you have there are two corners that are in their places diagonal from each other, or two that are like right here connected. So like they make a line on the bottom. So by what I mean, like in their places, I mean this has blue, orange, and yellow, between the blue, orange, and yellow, like right in that center. And then this one has yellow, blue, red, between the yellow, blue, and red centers right here. So we have on the bottom situation. So what you want to do is you go x prime rotation, then you go r prime d r prime u2 or u2 prime, and then r d prime r prime, then u2 prime r2 f, but you don't need to do f. And then you have the diagonal situation. Alright guys, so now we have the diagonal scenario after we did the line on the bottom. So there's one here between the blue and the orange, one here between the red and the green. And so you're going to want to have it so it's diagonal like this, not like this. Picture this as like a line diagonally. And what you do is you go F, R, U prime, R prime, U prime. And then you go R, U, R prime, F prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, R, F prime. And then you do U2. And then you have this scenario. So let's go through those two one more time, and then we'll move on to the last step. Alright guys, so let's do this one more time. We have the bottom line scenario. So what you do is you do x prime rotation, r prime, d, r prime, u prime 2, r, d prime, r prime, u prime 2, r2. And then we have the diagonal example where we go F, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, R prime, R, F prime, and then you go U2. And then now we move on to the final step. So there are many different types of examples. There's like, I'm pretty sure 4 of them. These two, there are 2 in this case that you could have, where you want to have the solid face here, and you want to look at these other ones, these other edges. So all the corners are in their places, you just need to put the edges in their places. So in this case, this one needs to go here, this one needs to go here, and this one needs to go here. So we are going clockwise this way, which means you're going to want to go opposite with your moves. So for this, you're going to want to go, let's see, it goes this way. So you go U prime 2, M prime 2, U prime, M, U prime 2, M prime, U prime, and then M prime 2, U2. And then the cube is solved. So let's go through a few more examples, and then, yeah. Alright, so here's the pretty much the same exact example and scenario that we had last time, except opposite. So instead of it going clockwise, it's going counterclockwise, because this needs to go here, this needs to go here, and this needs to go here. So if it's going this way, you're going to move it like this. So U2, M prime 2, U, M, U2, M prime, U, M prime 2, U2. And then the cube is solved. So we have 2 more scenarios, and then we'll be good to go. Alright, so here's the second to last scenario. We have it where instead of going clockwise or counterclockwise, we have no solved faces, and these are opposite. So this needs to go here, this needs to go here, this needs to go here, and this needs to go here. So what you do is you just repeat the same pattern until it looks almost solved. So you go M prime to U, 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 and then it's solved. So you're gonna have to do like the turns on the top a few more times, and then it's solved. So let's go to the last example, and after that you're well on your way to becoming a speed cuber. So let's go. Alright guys, we have come to the very last step of doing my CF4 method, which is an intermediate method. And this is a kind of strange example, but it's pretty much the same thing as the last one we did, where this needs to go here, and this needs to go here, this needs to go here, and this needs to go here. So they're like lines here, basically. And you don't want to have it like this. You don't want to have it looking like this for my method. You want to have it looking like this. And then you go M prime to U, M prime to U, M prime, U2, M prime to U2, M, and then you just turn it, U2, and then it's solved. So, I hope this helped you guys a lot. This is my own method, a combination of a few different things. I have tried CFOP, and I know the layer by layer method. If you guys would like me to do a more beginner method on how to do it, that's much easier to learn and doesn't involve that many algorithms, let me know in the comments. I'll leave a link to the description of all of the algorithms and stuff that you'll need. And that's Asher AZ checking out for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Bye. 3, 2, 1, go. $33! Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness! 33, guys! 33! I'm a speedy boy now.